Hello everybody, welcome to the next edition of my Compiled podcast. I'm your host Matthew from MLC Tech. Today we're going to be discussing, one topic in particular today, and that is the current state of the smartphone market. So we're going to look at just how the smartphone market has changed in recent years and where it's going, where it is at the moment, and what we're going to be targeting in the future perhaps, and what trends we could possibly be seeing in the future. Anyway, with that said, let's roll the intro and get right into it. Yeah. So, smartphones. Everyone has smartphones now, from all different shapes and sizes. I remember when smartphones used to be, tiny little things. And everyone thought, oh, a 4-inch display, oh, that's going to be massive. Now, let's go to, how big phones are now. 6.5, 6.9 inches, almost 7 inches of screen our phones are. But that is, in also other developments, such as thinner bezels and stuff. So, before we get into the main topic, we're going to discuss about me. No, everyone's favourite topic, me, no. No, but me in relation to smartphones. We're not going to discuss me personally. That's another video idea for another day. But so no, we're not discussing me like that. We're going to discuss me and my smartphone history. Now, I wouldn't class myself as exactly old, but I've had a few smartphones in the years. So my first smartphone that I ever had was an LG Cookie back in 2009. That only lasted a year. Smartphone in a sense, you could touch it and it ran some apps. It wasn't Android, it was LG's own operating system back in the day. So it wasn't quite smartphones as we know them today. The Android, the iOS's. So after that phone, my second phone was actually an iPhone 3GS. And now it was a second-hand one. It was passed me down. Got it in 2010 as well. So yeah, I had the iPhone 3GS. That lasted me quite a while. I quite enjoyed that phone. It was my first proper smartphone experience. My first iOS experience. So bearing in mind though, I wasn't very old at the time. How old would I have been? Like 9 or 10? Yeah. 9 or 10 when I got it. I can't exactly remember dates. This was donkey years ago now. So I went from the iPhone 3GS, then 2 years later, I got the iPhone 4 in 2012. The iPhone 4 at the time, it was a 2-year-old phone already. We were seeing the likes of the iPhone 5 coming out later that year. But I got an iPhone 4 given as a hand-me-down from my mum, who had her iPhone 4 when it came out. So she actually gave me the phone in her iPhone 4 in 2012, and I have to say I absolutely love that phone. It was a good size. It had a good screen, though in comparison, I can't remember how big it was. A 3.5, 4-inch display. At the time, I thought, yeah, that's brilliant. It's got a good screen compared to the iPhone 3GS. It's got the Retina display. And I thought, oh, this is quite good. So yeah, that was the last of my iPhones for many years to come, because the following year, I finally got a new phone, not a hand-me-down, a brand new phone, and this was my first ever Android experience. So I went for the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now, being young, still 13, 12 years old at the time, I can't exactly remember how old I was. Yeah, I can't just remember when I got it. I was around that age. So my iPhone Galaxy S3, I got it in a white, and that was an upgrade for me because it was the first time I had a bigger screen. I think the screen was something like 4.3, 4.7 inches, and I thought, ooh, because I got flagship Samsung. get on my level, even though it was made of plastic at the time. Before all the phone companies really copied Apple for build quality. Don't get me wrong. The state of the market at the time, iPhone still had the best quality, but Samsung were putting brilliant displays. Though on the downside to Samsung, this was, TouchWiz in its prime. When I say TouchWiz, the custom Android launcher that they used for Android, Samsung did. TouchWiz, looking back at it, was a piece of shit. I'm sorry, Samsung, but you do make good hardware now, and One UI is actually pretty decent now, but back in 2013, your TouchWiz screen for Android was absolute dog shit. Sorry, but I had to say it, but yeah. Even TouchWiz a few years later was still dog shit. In fact, is a good. You can see why they got rid of TouchWiz altogether, because it was just terrible compared to the other offerings from Apple, from even other Android manufacturers. So that phone I had for a good old 2 years. Then in 2015, I upgraded again. And this felt like a big gap for me. A big leap for me, in fact. Because I went to the Samsung Galaxy S6. Now, that was a big step in the Galaxy lineup from what we had previously. This was the first, major redesign and complete overhaul. So, they finally switched to a metal and glass body. And I thought this phone was gorgeous. And I still think, looking back at it, we've advanced on with the bezels, but the build quality was amazing for that phone. It was proper solid glass. I love the feel of it. It was the first time I had a phone with an OLED screen and seeing, how pixels could illuminate while having, these brilliant blacks, watching the colours go fade to black, and seeing the blacks on that, because OLED, how it works, to illuminate, a perfect black, they actually turn the pixel off altogether. So, you get that perfect black, and the contrast. Oh, I was in love. But that phone didn't last long. I should have bought a case like a numpty. I didn't do, because it was the first time I had a phone with this build quality, with this glass sandwich. It may have dropped it, and it may have gone smash. Yeah. So that wasn't quite. So yeah. So the phone only lasted me a year, but this did give me a good experience, because I had to get a new phone, and at the time I didn't have much money to buy a new phone. So I couldn't buy another. I couldn't go out and just buy another flagship phone. So in 2016, I went out and bought the LG Nexus 5X. Now this phone lasted me a year. But my God, this I have to say, this probably was my favourite phone. Having the pure Nexus, pure Android experience. None of this bloatware, none of this crap. Pure Android from, before they launched Pixel, it was the Nexus of Google's prime flagship. And then the 5X was the slightly more budget oriented, but with that pure Android, that pure Google experience. And I absolutely loved it. That pure Android experience I loved compared to Samsung. And it probably, looking back, it is. I can't say it's the best phone I've had, in terms of hardware, in terms of screen, but in terms of just general experience, general usability, general software experience, it was my favourite phone, just because of that pure Android experience, and I absolutely loved it. And I would have loved to now to be owning a proper flagship, level Pixel phone, but which we will discuss the Pixel 5 later on. But I want that pure flagship now. I'm all about that, top dollar price for smartphones now, which I can't say is a good thing. I can't say it's a good thing at all. Financial decisions are meant to be student. I'm meant to be looking after my wallet, but we'll more on that later. So moving on to my next phone that I got the following year later. So it's 2017. I got the Samsung Galaxy S8, and I still got that phone. It still works. but I don't use it anymore. But yeah, it still works. Only used that, only upgraded a year before I upgraded as well. Again, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Galaxy S8, it was a big improvement from my last Samsung S6. You know, we got this. We saw the start of making bezels smaller, which was a good trend to start seeing. I love this phone. It was cute. It was dandy. One UI. This was the start of. Was it the last generation of TouchWiz or the start of One UI? I'm pretty sure it was the start of Samsung One UI. So yeah, this phone, I love this phone. Though a year later, it didn't last long because I went out and finally, being big boy I am, I went and got myself my own phone. Bought it with my own dosh. What did we go for? We went for in 2017. We went for we switched tracks altogether from being an Android user. Where do we go? I picked up the iPhone XX Max. It was this is like expensive phone. It still is expensive, but you know I can't really complain. I had this phone for 2 years before changing again. 2 years. With going back to iPhone since 2012, and I loved you. I love switch. I'm not gonna lie. I love switching back to iPhone. iOS is just amazing. The hardware, the feel of this phone, is just amazing.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, go away, Siri. Apart from Siri, Siri's not very good, but I don't use voice assistants anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, I loved using this phone. For the main reason, battery life and iOS. I still think iOS is brilliant. It's a brilliant piece of software. In terms of power management, in terms of just simplicity, usability. You can't really say much for customization compared to Android, even though they're bringing in widgets and other icon packs now in iOS. But yeah, to be honest, I still use this phone today because Apple Pay and all them services run amazing on iOS. I can't use Apple Pay. I can't use Samsung Pay. I mean, not Apple Pay. I mean, I can't use Android Pay or Samsung Pay because they don't support Barclays. So I love using this as, payment processor. Technically, I've already paid for this phone. But yeah, I still think it's a brilliant phone. Despite being 2 years old, it still holds up today. This is a 2-year-old phone now, and it still holds up today. I mean, we had in this phone was the A12, the A12 Apple CPU, and that still holds up today. Oh, another big upside of Android compared to what I've got now is their own processors that they use are amazing. Remains to see what the iPhone 12 is going to bring, but yeah, Apple's own processors are amazingly fast. It wouldn't surprise me if the A11 is currently faster than what I've got in my current phone, which I'm a bit pissed off with at Samsung for doing this. But yes, I went back because I'm not someone with brand loyalty. I like to change things up a little bit. I like to try different things. Yeah. So what am I using at the moment? For example, right in front of me, I've got my 2020 iPad Pro, 120Hz screen. I love that thing. But I wanted to try and change things up this year. So instead of trying to wait out for the iPhone 12, I upgraded my phone already to what is an absolute massive behemoth of a phone. Don't get me wrong, my XX Max was pretty big, 6.5 inches. But you want to know what 6.9 inches feels like in your hand? Well, let me tell you something. It feels like this. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. We will discuss Samsung later with their current shit naming schemes and the Note 20, the smaller Note 20, which isn't even a Note 20. It's more like a Samsung S20 FE with a stylus, if I'm being honest. But I went for the big boy, the big daddy of the flagship, that just short of the the new Samsung Galaxy Fold. And I have to say, so far, I'm actually liking this phone. In terms of, it's got a brilliant screen, 120 hertz OLED. This, hands down, best in the business from Samsung. Samsung make the best panels, hands down, in the smartphone category. So if you want the best smartphone in the phone, this is the one to get. In my little hands, don't get me wrong. I'm between. I can't remember. I'm between 6'5" and 6'4". So I'm not exactly a big person. So this thing feels massive in my hand. Just look at that in my hand. It's a behemoth. But I like it. I like the big chunk in my hand. I like the big boy in my hand. I like a big phone, and this feels chunky. It's nice and chunky. Fits good in my hand. This boxy display, and the build quality on this is amazing. Full, metal body with a glass black, and I love this, frosted glass they've done with it. So it's, frost. So the back's frosted in this what they call Mystic Bronze, and I've had people say, why do they call it Mystic Bronze? Mystic Bronze, Rose Gold, they're all pretty similar, but this is pretty nice. It's pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. So this is what my current personal sim's in at the moment. We've settled for going back to Android. Yes, it's a little different from coming from iOS, switching back to Android, but tell you what, the new version of Samsung One UI 2.5, it's actually quite nice. Now, I don't really need a phone for much, so I say, I'm like, oh, I don't really need a phone for much, so I went out and spent £1,200 on a phone. I'm like, yeah, I don't need a phone for much, so let's spend £1,200 on a phone. Because, I'm a tech person. I like the tech. I like to have the latest. I like to have the greatest screen, high refresh rates. Brilliant. Just a shame about the Exynos CPU that Samsung bundled in to the European market. Now, if it was the American, and what they have in America of the Note 20 Ultra, with the Snapdragon, that's the one I really want. Why can't Samsung just fix the Exynos CPU? You're not Apple. You can't make good processors. Simple as that. Even though I can't say, it's terrible. It's not as good as the Snapdragon where it should be at, but there we are. This is the weird world we live in. But yeah, Samsung One UI, it's pretty nice. It's pretty simplistic. That's what I like. I like clean. I like simple. I like simplistic. What do I use a phone for? Well, social media, texting people, I don't do much like mobile gaming. I don't really need a powerful processor, if I'm gonna lie. So long as the storage is good. It's got fast storage. It's got all my utility apps that I use. Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Spotify, and storage for music. That's all I really use my phone for, if I'm being honest, and web browsing as well. So yeah, I don't actually need a lot out of a phone, but then again, I went and spent top dollar on it, but there we are. So this draws me to end of this one is to explain the current state of the smartphone markets. Now, that's the end of my story of smartphones. We're not going to talk much about me anymore. There's not much to say apart from I need to sort this mop out on top of my head. That's the only thing I need to say. Oh, talking about sorting them out, I'm also changing colours to match. This is actually pretty strange. The colour scheme we're going for compiled. The blue, the blues and the purples. That's the sort of colour my hair's going as well. So my hair's going to be matching the compiled branding. So yeah, that was a coincidence, but we're going to be fully branded up. I just need get a jumper in the compiled colours. We got the lighting set up. We've got the purple lights. We got the blue behind me here. Actually, I've just noticed that the colour scheme actually matches the lights. Oh my god, that's actually amazing. Wow, I just noticed that, and then Baby Yoda behind me. So where are we at the current state of the smartphone market? Well, we saw in the last couple of years the price of smartphones skyrocket. Can I complain about the price of smartphones? Not really, because I bought them anyway. So 2 years ago, iPhone XX Max. This is the the high spec model you can get. 1,000, I think it was like £1,100. S20 Ultra, 512 gigabytes, over £1,200 for this bad. But so over the past couple of years, and this really started with the launch of the iPhone X back in 2012, of Apple charging over £1,000 for a smartphone. Then last year we saw, a lot of companies try and go up to this level, but mainly it was Samsung and Apple pushing this forward. We saw last year, not last year, the start of this year, the S20 launch, and we saw that thing. Oh my god! Oof. Now, okay, the normal S20 you can get that for about $699. The S20 Plus about £800. Then we saw the launch of the S20 Ultra, £1,300. And I thought, holy shit, how can they charge that much for a phone? And now, okay, I think even Samsung knew they were charging way too much for that phone. What do I mean by that? Well, the Note 20 Ultra, which is meant to be the new flagship, the new king, the new daddy of Samsung's line, minus the Fold. So that saw a slight price decrease. So, the S20 Ultra launching at over £1,300. It's still quite a very expensive phone. It's not really come down much in price. But we saw with the Note 20 Ultra, the prices, the MSRP of this phone, and this is meant to be the better phone. It's got the bigger screen. It's got the bigger battery. It's got the better screen. That launched slightly cheaper. So Samsung knew, £1,300 is a bit too much. So we saw over the last 2 years the trend of smartphone manufacturers charging, over £1,000 for a smartphone. But in the recent climates, in the recent smartphone climate, in the recent world climate, of I don't know if how Samsung flags this still, the human malware, the global pandemic, of manufacturers are coming out and actually targeting, the budget. When I say the budget, a lot of smartphone manufacturers came out and actually wanted to target the $399 price range. When I say the $399 price range, we got the likes of the Google Pixel 4a, the OnePlus Nord's coming out. We even got, the iPhone SE for $399. What is going on, Sam? Apple can't charge this much for a phone, surely. Now, of course, it was basically an iPhone 8 with, iPhone 8 screen, the iPhone 8 camera, iPhone 8 shell, but, Apple put in the A13 Bionic, which, for $399, that is pretty compelling. The performance of, the iPhone 11 Pro in a phone that's $399, that is pretty compelling, not going to lie. The likes of the Google Pixel 4a, that's also another really compelling phone to have. So, for the $399 price range, you're getting a brilliant camera. Okay, you're getting plastic build quality, but, still a decent screen, decent camera. You're getting the camera from the Pixel 3. So if you want to take phones on the cheap, that thing's still amazing. The Android experience on the Pixel is still the best in the business, I personally think. And the image processing, software processing of, the Pixel cameras are amazing. So we saw this battle for, the budget phone. But this isn't where I think manufacturers are putting all their attention. Now, I think where we're going with this is not going to be, the £1,000 flagship. I think actually manufacturers are starting to come back down to earth. So, around the $699, £599 price mark is where, which is the battleground at the moment. So what have we, in the recent months? So what we've seen, the OnePlus 8T, that's going to be launching for around that price. Then Samsung thought, hang on, we want a slice of that pie. We want a slice of, the high-end, the high-endish smartphone market of of the mid-range price tier. The fact that $599. So Samsung released the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. So it's not quite as good as the Samsung S20 in terms of build quality, but you are getting pretty decent specs. You're getting that 120 hertz display. Looking at it, the OnePlus 8T is meant to be looks pretty good for that price range as well. You're getting 120 hertz OLED AMOLED display at that price range, which looks amazing. Then we have seen that recently the Google Pixel 5a has just been launched. The Google Pixel 5, for £599. That looks very compelling. Now I'm not going to buy one because I've already got the S20 Ultra. I don't need to downgrade my phone. But the Pixel 5a, $599. It's got okay, a 5. It's not got the best specs. It's not got the best everything. But for $599, you're getting an OLED display. You're getting Google Pixel top-notch camera sensors, and even in the the Pixel 4a 5G, that's got the same camera setup as well. But you're getting a top-notch camera, top-notch video stabilization in that as well. Yeah, so top-notch everything pretty much. If I'm being honest, apart from the processor, the build quality, full aluminium frame, and just to see that they've been able to put wireless charging in an aluminium frame. What? No one ever thought that was possible. Everyone thought, no, if you want wireless charging on the phone, it's got to have a glass back. But then Google's sitting there like, look, see, we're going full aluminium frame. And so far, I actually really like the look of the Google Pixel. In fact, it's possible I might recommend it to some people who are looking for a phone for that price range. Though it remains to be seen just how good the new OnePlus 8T is going to be. But we'll talk about all the Android phone manufacturers targeting this market. But wait, there's more, because someone else is expected to enter this price range as well. Apple, all of a sudden, it's looking very likely that they're going to be entering this price range as well. Now, Apple's always been about, we only sell the best, we only sell the most expensive. But, hang on. Come on, my face is not too far away. I just got a ding, sorry. Hang on. Yeah. So, Apple's expected to be entering this price range with the new iPhone 12. Now, if you look at all the information we have about the iPhone 12, there's going to be a small one. There's going to be a 5.4 inch. Apparently, it's going to be called the iPhone 12 Mini, and people are thinking at the moment that's going to be launching for that price range. That's going to be launching about the $600, $650 price range. That's going to equate to about £500-600 probably in the UK. That Apple's going to be entering this market as well. Everybody wants a slice of the pie of this market because people don't want expensive phones. What a surprise. People don't want to spend £1,200 on a phone. They want to spend around £600. They don't want to £1,200. That's someone's monthly salary. That's a paycheck. That is a paycheck for someone. £1,200. Whereas £600 is a lot easier for someone to digest. Whether that's at once or over monthly payments, that is far easier to digest for someone. Especially if you don't need the fastest processor. You don't need the best of the best screens. You don't need a super massive display. Don't get me wrong. The Google Pixel 5 that's a 6-inch display. I'm pretty sure the Pixel 4a 5G, that's a 6.2 inch display. So don't get me wrong, you're not getting tiny display. You're getting quite a big one still. So yeah, I think where we're going with the smartphone market, I think manufacturers are starting to take their focus off the £1,200 price range for the phones. Manufacturers are starting to see that, especially in the current corona climate, some people are losing jobs, some people are making less money, Therefore, some people may have less disposable income in the current climate with how the job market's going at the moment. So, smartphone manufacturers, they know what's going on. They know what people want. And I'm really happy to see manufacturers going in this direction because it means, they're still going to be that top-end flagship market. But we're going to get much better phones for much better prices, I think, with all the manufacturers targeting this space. Hang on, let me look at my notes. So, I don't know what phone. I don't really know what what company's gonna do the best. I really like the look of the OnePlus Nord. I'm not gonna lie. You can, for example, you can get the Google Pixel for $599. The OnePlus 8T is meant to look. Oof. It's meant to look really good, not gonna lie. Hang on, let me just get this up. So, for example, we have, the Google, we have, the Google Pixel 5. I mean, this is for the aluminum display. It's got the fingerprint sensor at the back, and wireless charging as well. That looks pretty compelling. So we have, the Google Pixel 5, that's $599. You can spread it over 24 months with 0% APR for just under £25. That's quite good, 0% APR. And also, current deals on at the moment. If you buy this phone, you get a pair of Bose QC35-2s. £250 pair of headphones for free with this phone. That's so you're getting it's £850 worth of stuff for $599 technically. So that's a really good promotion at the moment. Not gonna lie. Then we also have the likes of the Samsung. Hang on, let me get this up. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, so I want. No. What's new? So we also then have, the Samsung S20 5G. Then the normal FE as well. So, this phone looks pretty compelling as well. That, again, is... How much are we charging? A little bit more, surprisingly, than the Google Pixel. So this 20 FE, that's £699. Ooh, that is for the 5G model. Okay, the 4G model is $599. And you got a range of colours, but the only downside is the plaque is the back of the FE is made of plastic, not glass or aluminium, as we're seeing with the Pixel 5. So I don't know. The build quality does leave something to be decided in this phone compared to, what the OnePlus 8T. That's not been revealed just yet, but it will do soon. Now it's meant to have a glass back as well. Though with this, you do get wireless charging as well. So the FE still looks pretty compelling for that price range as well. Yeah, so, especially with this student discount Samsung offers. So if I was someone looking to buy a cheap phone, this would be very compelling because I can buy this for £500 with a student discount, and it's still, you're still getting a good phone. It reminds me so much of, the Note 20, the shit Note 20 that no one likes and no one should buy. It looks so similar, just without a stylus. So. I'm actually curious. What 4,500 mAh battery as well, so that's pretty good. 6.5-inch display. I'm curious. What processors in the FE? I know Pixel's downgraded their processor, so it's the Snapdragon 765G, I believe. This will be a Exynos variant, being us being in the UK. But for the FE you get 120Hz AMOLED display, so you're still getting a really good display. The Google Pixel, that's a 90Hz OLED display, it's still pretty good, but not Samsung quality, but then with the Pixel you are getting, that better camera, you're getting that better software experience. So I don't know, depends what you want out of a phone. Personally, if I had to recommend a phone for $599, at the moment I'm gonna wait to see what the OnePlus 8T actually offers, how good of a phone that is. So I can't, definitively say which smartphone for $599 you should go out and buy till they've all released, till the iPhone 12 is released, until the OnePlus 8T is released. So I'm not going to hand on my heart and say which one I think, but in terms of what's currently out at the moment, I'm going to say the Google Pixel 5. That, look, that's very compelling for that price range. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, so that's a current roundup of how smartphones are at the moment. My camera battery is about to die, so this is a good time to wrap things up and actually, conclude today's compiled podcast. Thank you everyone who's watched today. I've been your host, MLC. If you want to comment down below anything about the smartphone market, got any questions, want to have, have your own take on what your own views are, what manufacturers you think are doing the best in this market at the moment, what phones would you personally go for in this current climate? And are you happy to see, the price, manufacturers target this price range opposed to, the over £1,000, segment of smartphones? Let me know in the comments down below. Have a discussion. Follow me on Twitter and other social media places. And thank you everyone for watching. If you got any questions, again, ask in the comments. Thank you everyone who's tuned in today. We will return soon with more smartphone news. We will talk about some more current tech news soon, and gaming news. With the consoles, and got the likes of the Video 3070 to talk about soon as well. So we will discuss all that in the next episode. But for now, thank you for listening to my rants and discussion on smartphones, and we will see you in a few days, I'd imagine. Yeah. Right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.